Welcome to Owl About Games, a podcast where we talk about all different aspects of board games, from design to mechanics to board game news, including updates and information for games from Open Owl Studios. I'm your host, Natalie, and I'm joined by Brendan. So sit back, relax, and let's talk Owl About Games. Hello, everybody. So it's another Friday of the month, and Brendan has come back.
Yeah, no, that's good. Natalie, maybe we pause the music as we get into it. Yeah.
No, sorry. Oh
no, that's okay.
Turn off. There you go.
Perfect. It's good. Hey, how's it going?
It's good. It's the beginning of July, so it's been like either storming or like super humid and gross here in Toronto. So
yeah, we literally just hit summer in Kelowna like yesterday. It was a scorching day, and I think this weekend's gonna be a toasty one.
I mean, I like it when it's warm, just not when it's humid. So
yeah, fair.
Okay. So today's episode, we're just gonna keep it to the basics because we have a whole bunch of things lined up for the next couple of months. So we will start with the studio updates for our games from Brendan.
Yeah. Okay. Where should we start?
Maybe we should talk about Mythwind probably first. Given that we are extending the pledge manager for a short period of time.
Oh yeah. So we realize that there's a lot of people who have not well, first of all, happy 4th of July for all of our American friends.
For the Americans.
Yes, can't forget about them. Yeah, I'm just going here to the admin. We're still waiting on a number of unfinished pledges. And so if you're unfinished on Mythwind, make sure to go in, get your order placed. We kind of need final quantities as we ramp up. As far as like development and stuff goes, we have handed off every single file except the friends and family expansion. And so with the friends and family expansion, we're just kind of finalizing the files, doing a couple more pass throughs and edits. We have there's a bunch of vacations going on at the beginning of summer with the team. So
tis summertime.
Tis summertime. So I've been a little bit slowed down for that. But we are, they're all printing up the digital samples for, I think, basically every other component. So we're getting that and, working with a few translation partners to get the other files out. I know Board Game Circus in Germany is getting the files, and I think there's some others, but I've kind of lost track at the moment of everything.
There's a few of them too.
Yeah, there's a few of them. So that's Mythwind. Really excited about that, and then I'm sure in the future Nathan will have some more updates on like kind of the what's next, right? We're already working on what is next, because the plan is, as soon as this fulfills, we have a few more kind of characters coming up. Really excited about that.
Yeah.
And Natalie, maybe as I'm talking, there was that interesting Board Game Geek post about Mythwind. Somebody extending it. We can circle back in on that later. So as I roll through these updates, that can be a talking point. So Mythwind is going well. Really excited about that. Let's transition to Stars. Stars 1.5. I was just answering some questions for some of our localization partners this morning. We are still going back and forth with the factory. We're getting some samples shipped to us very soon. I think they just they're actually in the mail. I got tracking numbers yesterday for the files, so that's really good. There's gonna be one last kind of set of revisions, and then we should be ready to print for all of the files for Stars. So really excited about that. I have actually where
somewhere
I have
I mean,
I just
Yeah, to be fair, Brendan just moved everything. So
we literally just moved. So it's the new office. You can see the new background. So
yeah.
we got a bunch of we got samples of our terrain pieces. Which
Yeah, I
are,
really like that one.
yeah, they're looking really good. They're big, right? So this is gonna like add a ton of table
Cool.
presence.
That's a
Um,
huge
yeah, well, it's
planet.
yeah, it's a big planet, but it fits on the board, so that works out well. Um, so Stars is going good, getting the samples. I think I'll get the samples next week, and so we're moving that along. So moving from Stars to what's next? Stone Saga.
Stone Saga? Yeah.
Okay, so Stone Saga, good news, bad news. Good news, stuff is really coming along. Lots of work happening on Stone Saga. We're kind of we're in the last kind of area where we don't necessarily need to do a play test on the expansion stuff like another one, but we're doing a small little play test for the expansion components, which is good.
Yep.
And we are in the kind of rule book stage, meaning that we already had Adam Baker do a pass of the rule book a couple months ago. And that was really good. Like by pass, I mean he like wrote the whole rule book, which was a lot of work. And
Yeah.
now he, after a bunch of our testing and changes, we have kind of done a complete revision. So he submitted that I think at the beginning of this week, and it is it's a big one. This we want to make sure we do this right. So they're getting through that. There's going to be some technical changes, technical edits that we do throughout all of our documents. There's a lot of text in this game. There's a lot of components in this game. It's huge, and so the plan is to kind of wrap that up in the coming months. And we're still aiming for kind of Q1 delivery. It's we're running late. And this is it's a bummer, right? Because the game in some ways got away from us, but it's also just exciting because the game got away from us in the best way. Where through testing, like our testers are so excited about the project, and so I'm like beyond stoked. We're getting the miniatures. Do I have anything to share on the trays? I was actually thinking about this.
Yeah, because I remember we were talking about the trays.
Yeah, we've done. We've added a few like kind of new trays that weren't even on the Kickstarter for organization. So people are gonna like get this game like, whoa, I don't remember that. And it's like it's true, it wasn't on Kickstarter, but we really want to make sure that the game, even though that it is like a behemoth of a game, that it's easy to get to the table, easy to kind of pack up. And so that for us is the best as far as encouraging playtime. So that's Stone Saga. It's coming along. We'll have some more updates in the future about that. But we're really happy. What's next after that? Oh yeah, so next month we might have a game reveal. I won't say much more. We've been teasing it on our blog, so you can go kind of check out some of the early artwork and stuff there. It's special. It's like it's like it's like a single player solo only experience, which we've never done. The retail, we'll have a retail and deluxe version. I won't say much more, but the retail version is by far the most accessible retail pricing that we've ever had for any of our games. It's people are going to see it and they're like, whoa, this is like different from Open Owl Studios. And in some ways it is true. It is different, but we have this driving force and kind of vision as a company to kind of bring innovation to the board game space, right? So this idea of like, hey, we don't want to make games that have been made before. And so whenever
we'll not be put in a corner.
So whenever we approach a project or look at something, it's like, hey, what does this new game bring? What does this new game bring that other people don't haven't experienced in the past. And so it is really it's really important for us that we kind of take steps for each of our games and kind of push what a board game could be. And this one doesn't. We had an outside designer submit something to us, and we rarely look at external submissions, but this one blew our world. And so really stoked to share in a month. We'll have for those who are joining us for Gen Con, we'll have a copy to look at and to admire at Gen Con. And so it'll be good. Gen Con's in like a month.
Yep. Just under a month now.
I'm not ready for that.
Yeah. Now that we just said it, I just got a little nervous in my body.
Well, that's good. Should be fun.
We'll be ready. It's a big one. So I think it's like usually like 70,000 attendees and stuff. I haven't been there since the first time I ever went to a convention, and I went by myself. So
yeah,
it'll be different getting back there. But I'm excited for the party that we've got. So
our party, yeah. Are we still sold out? Do we have any extra tickets?
Yeah, we're sold out.
Uh-oh.
I believe.
It's
we'll be at Gen Con generally, right? So we've also created like a space on our Discord recently that's just for conventions.
Right.
So that we've got a forum that's just Gen Con. So for anyone that is attending and wants to see kind of what Brendan and I are up to, or if people within the community just are there and are like, I want to play a game or hang out with people, it's like there's a space for us to do that, so that you can play some games with us or play some games with each other or just play a solo game at Gen Con.
Yeah, that's so good. Oh yeah, look at this. We got a lot of fun people. There's going to be industry people at the event. There's going to be
there's
fans
quite a
at the
few.
event. I just see there's we got a Kickstarter rep coming. Everyone showing up, so that'll be good. Next year, if it goes well, we'll open up the doors and have a little bit of a bigger party.
We had no idea, honestly, that this many people were going to be interested. So
yeah, it's fun.
Sorry for that, but next time we will make sure to make a bigger one.
Yeah. So as far as studio update goes, I think that's the bulk of it with our projects. Yeah.
Yep. So I will just share my screen here and talk about this. So Mythwind is up for two awards for the Meeple's Choice Awards. We first came to know about it, I think, like a week or so ago. But we are in the finals for two categories. So we were in the category of best box art for 2023, and then best thematic game for 2023. And you guys have a chance to vote until July 10th. And I'll be sure to put the link to this page on the YouTube and in our podcast description later. But you pretty much just come here, you click it, and then, sorry, I already responded, but
you scroll down, right?
Yeah, you go to your Google Forms and fill it out for us and for other people's category. And then maybe we will win an award for Mythwind for last year, which would be great.
That'd be fun. I just see Zomer Droman in the chat. Sorry if I just butchered your name there. They're mentioning that Codename Bookmark, which is the game. That I was talking about. They're very interested in it as a solo player with a preference for a narrative adventure in games. We're excited to share it. I think we're doing something pretty special when it comes to the there's story. There's like written story. There's not a ton of written story, but there is. But we do a lot of really neat visual storytelling in that
Yeah.
in that game. So you'll see it. You'll know when you see it. Yeah, cool. Sorry for the interruption, but yeah, no.
That's
So
okay.
go vote for us. Let's
Yeah.
slap on a couple awards to Mithwin. That'd be great.
And actually, if you want to know more about Codename Bookmark, you can still go to our behind the scenes blog here. I won't share too much because you'll need to get access. It's free though. It's free to
free.
get access. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we have like different conversations with Brendan will pop a word in there to have different commentary with our community, which has been going pretty well. I mean, almost every post is like 30, 40, 50 comments from the community that are going up. We also had an interview with Andrew Fisher, who did Earthborn Games up on there that you can find. That's an exclusive. So yeah, you can sign up and you'll just get a notification when we have something new that goes up. But it is free for that.
Yeah.
So another item. So our podcast is now officially on Board Game Geek, where
there we go.
Yeah, which is another space where you can listen to us after the fact. And lastly, like Brendan had mentioned, we had some neat things going on with Mythwind with a few of our community members that I noticed this week on Board Game Geek. And who is this person? I will not say that properly. Pedro Campuzano. Yes. Apparently made some upgrades. So
Incredible.
So down here it's like the regular boards, but they actually created 2 separate boards with their own art, I would assume, for more building spaces. So here's a close up of that one.
It actually it looks like Photoshop generative art, so you can like in Photoshop you can like extend an art. So that's what it looks like, because it the trees at the bottom match up perfectly. I might be wrong, but it's pretty cool.
Because I was like, yeah, this is pretty neat. So it's a couple of extra boards that make it so that there's the other one. So that you can put more buildings out, which is interesting and neat as a concept to just make. Well, with friends and family, you're going to have a whole other board as well when it does come out.
Yeah,
but
this is a mega board. This is it reminds me in my first year of university, my roommate and I we combined like every expansion of Settlers of Catan together. And so it was like Uber Settlers, but we had like base Settlers. We had the one where you have different islands in it.
I didn't play that much Settlers
to know
that
Seafarers. I don't know. So Seafarers, and we had Knights. And we had another one as well, but it was crazy, and it wasn't very fun, but it was fun to like.
It was neat to see, to put it all out.
And it was fun to like create it and to combine it. But so anyways, this is giving me those vibes.
Yeah. Like, this is neat. I mean, we keep seeing different stuff from our community, especially in our Discord, where it's like Stars of Icario, someone printed their own like organizer for Stone Saga testing. They were sharing their cave wall paintings that their wife had done. And then I think we have a few people who, even with the revised rules, have started to make their own variants as well, which are pretty neat. So this one by Jean-Francois Henry on the Mythwind BGG site has a variant for the Innkeeper. And there's a variant here by Indiana Magnies. Yep, I'm great with names. Where they've implemented the new revised rules and just added some new things for themselves, which are pretty neat. So I mean, our community is pretty innovative themselves.
It's great. Love it.
Yeah. So with that, what else do we have? Oh, I think I already mentioned that our Discord now has some new places. So there's now a better place for you to view kind of what our
Yep.
community builds and makes, where it's more of a forum where there's a gallery so that it's just the image. Because I was finding that too often someone would upload one of their like creative items that they made for one of our games, and it would kind of just like scroll past
Mm.
in the chat, and it kind of didn't get uh the
The
community
yeah, the
talk instead.
feature. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, yeah. So we've got a space for just creations from our community. We've got like a pet area because I like furry animals and I like to see all of your guys' furry animals,
Mhm.
especially in the middle of the workday.
Mhm.
And then yeah, we have our convention things because we do not expect Gen Con to be our one and only. So hopefully with the happening of Gen Con, we will be seeing you guys a lot more often to do fun stuff at conventions.
Yeah. Yeah. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. So again, not as many things to say for this episode of the podcast because we have a few announcements to come in the future. So keeping it
Yeah,
light
you
this
know,
time.
it's a light summer breezy podcast, which is great. You
Yeah.
know, the team is hard at work, resting, hard at work, working. There's a big push to get uh, uh, a thing of the codename bookmark kind of finished in time.
Yep.
You know, we needed to get some samples ready for Gen Con, and so it was a big push for that the past couple weeks. And so you know the team has been enjoying some good vacation time.
Well, and you needed to move. So
Oh yeah, there's that too, which you know which is
you're
also
so kind
good.
of busy.
Yeah, yeah, also fun. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, if anyone has any questions, speak now. Otherwise, Brendan, were there any board games that you've played over the last couple of months almost? Because you weren't here last month
Yeah,
either.
you know, I have too many ideas like all the time, like for my just always. And so uh s- a couple of weeks ago I just like I made a board game on a weekend. Um
Just
eh,
casual.
and so honestly I played it with a group of friends like 2 weeks ago, and you know lots it was lots of fun. It was like a uh, so I've mentioned before that you know one of my favorite board games is like the Game of Thrones board game. Uh,
Oh
there's
yeah.
there's just something like I really like an
I
element.
need to
It's
play that one day. I
yeah,
have
it's like you know it's inspired heavily from Diplomacy, which I've never played, but it's this like hidden action selection. Everyone kind of places and then they all reveal it at the same time. And then you have this like fun kind of resolution moment. And you know, I've been hanging out with well, there's like we have a group of friends, my wife and I, and it's typically like you know 6 to 8 people ish. So you know, it's
oh
hard to play any
yeah, it is
games,
hard.
right? And so I'm like, hey, you know, maybe there's a fun like 3 to 8 player game I can kind of make, you know, inspired by kind of the Game of Thrones thing, but can we kind of condense it, just like get to the action? And so you know, did a prototype, and it was enjoyable. And so I'm gonna I'm gonna do version 2.0 tomorrow night. And so
Wow.
have a bunch of changes to come into effect. I don't know what more to say about it. It's not.
No.
This isn't an open owl studio game, by the way.
Yeah.
You know, maybe one day it will be, but this is just kind of like a
Just a
fun
Brendan casual, like, oh, let's just make a game.
yeah, I don't actually make many games these days, and so it's
Well, it's
I
busy.
don't spend a lot of my time designing, and so it was kind of fun just to like jump in and do some personal design. Um, you know, who knows? Maybe one day we'll place it in one of our universes and release it as like a small project.
Yeah, that'd
But
be neat.
yeah, so my goal for it was like 3 to 8 players, 60 to 90 minutes. There is a like kind of hidden action mechanic. It's a little bit area control. The version 2.0 takes some inspiration from the victory mechanics of Scythe, where you have different
Oh,
there's different objectives, and when you reach one of those
Yeah.
objectives, you get to place one of your stars.
Yeah.
It's the game and triggers at the end of 3 rounds. So it's a little
Okay.
different than that. But kind of interesting. In some ways, it's similar to IB Studios' new game that just came out, where it has like this.
Oh,
IB
Brink?
Studios has like, yeah, they have like this count. I think they call it council phase, which is funny because in my rules I had strategy phase and council phase, and I'm like, man, they just like went into my Google Drive and stole the game. But they're way further in development than I am. So like maybe I need
Yeah.
to change my vote. Theirs is a lot of like, from what I understand, it's a lot of like resource trading and that kind of mechanic.
Yeah.
There's some like blind bidding, which
Yeah. I
is
almost
cool.
got to play it last weekend.
Oh, okay,
Because Jenna had a
nice.
copy, but I wasn't in on that game. So maybe this weekend I'll get to
Yeah,
try it.
yeah. My council phase is a little bit of that, but there's kind of like this, chance to build alliances, and it's very much like area control. And
I like
then,
that. Yeah.
yeah, there's this one idea I have that if it ever becomes an open out game, I think it'd be neat for there to be like, so let's say there's 8 different like houses, like a la Game of
Yeah.
Thrones or whatever,
Yeah.
or families, 8 different families, and um, throughout the game, you can like kind of make alliances. Like you can support other people in combat. When you support them, you get like an influence token that you
Oh, like a reward or
yeah,
yeah.
you can spend that influence token on votes, or you can choose, like right now I have 2. You can spend 2 influence tokens from the same person to like form an alliance. So if I helped you twice, I could form an alliance with you. Basically,
Yeah.
the alliance just makes it harder for us to attack one another, which
Yeah.
it's good. But then I'm thinking, which would be neat, is like, well, so everyone controls like a ruler, and that ruler has like a special trait, right? Just like a special ability. It's all asymmetric. But at the end of the game, I think it'd be fun to have each family. They each have their own like family tree, and
Oh.
then what you do is you have a kid. Oh, hey, look at
Oh,
that. That's fun.
celebration.
Celebration. You, for those of you listening to podcasts, I just did something that
Yeah.
made confetti fall down. But so with one of your alliance people, you have a kid, and then they actually, you inherit the trait so of the alliance person and your trait combined to form a new trait, and then you
Oh.
fill that in on your family tree, and then the next game, that is the ruler for that house.
Oh, that's
So
neat.
it's like it's meant to be like a 60-90 minute kind of fun, but then you gotta get
Yeah.
this like meta narrative. And then I think it would also be fun to like look at your family tree and be like, oh, I married, like, oh, this person married their cousin who did, I don't know. There would be something like you could see all the
Yeah.
interconnected kind of
House of
family thing.
Dragons-ish now.
Yeah, exactly. So I think for me, I'm like, oh, that kind of makes it a little bit like open owl-esque, right? Where it's
Yeah.
you bring some innovation. But anyways, it's we'll see. It oftentimes I make about all my new ideas, about 1 in 20 actually end up seeing the light of day. So this is just, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun to spend some time. Wow, I went on a little tangent there, Natalie. Sorry, I was pitching you
Well,
my
hey.
new game.
Well, it was interesting, and then asking about what games you've played over the last couple months, and it's like, "Oh,
That's the
well, I
game.
just made one instead."
I guess that's what we do.
Yeah. Significant games that I think I've played,
Yeah.
over the last little while. Oh, I learned Inventions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so, like, I have it, but mine is not punched or anything. It was a friend's copy,
Hmm.
and invited myself and another friend over to teach us and play the game. I really liked it. It's like, sometimes I think with Lacerdas, they are, like, big, complex games,
Right.
but it's almost like there's a couple actions which are like simple to understand, but you need to do things in a particular order or
Mm,
remember to do things. So it's like they're complex, but I don't find them like I will never understand as long as you know the basics and then you kind of go from there. Um another one this past week. So I was actually at Daryl's place this week, and I didn't know what we were gonna play for that night. So ended up showing up, and he had a friend. Apparently there's this like whole movement over like in China where it's like
Hmm.
there's like how we have escape rooms, they have these places you go, and it's almost like there's like thousands of different like murder mystery type things, and it's almost like you're playing through a movie of glass onion, no, Knives Out, like
Knives Out.
Knives Out.
Yeah.
So everybody has like their own package to read of their character, so it takes about like 10-15 minutes for everyone to do, and they're like really large stories, so it's not just how like Blood on the Clock Tower or the Night of the Werewolf or whatever that game is, where you're just like a hidden character and you try to find out the bad guy, and then it's like that's the end of it. Like Blood on the Clock Tower, a little bit they'll be like, this is what happened night 1, this is what
Mm.
happened night 2. But with these stories, it's like they're so rich and there's sometimes more than one murder. I won't spoil it as much, but it was like some weird way that the person in our story was murdered where you would never figure it out on your own, but you're basically just trying to figure out who is the murderer. And different people have murdered other people, and they have different genres where it's like an emotional genre, a horror
Mm.
genre. Sometimes you'll have like different outfits made. There's like a whole village that does it, where made me think of like Westworld, like you're going to play a
Yeah.
game in Westworld and there's actors there and everything. But it's
Sweet.
this whole movement that like went out in China during the pandemic, and because this guy was able to translate everything for us from Chinese to English, we were able to play. So really interesting, and I think
Yeah.
would do really well in North America, because the biggest thing that they did for it was saying how it became an activity where people are going to actually meet people. So
Mm.
like people would sign
Right. It's a
up
social
because it's like,
gathering thing. Yeah.
yeah, because you have a point of what you're all talking about, and then after it, everybody wants to talk about like, oh, what did your script say? Oh, how did that work together? Or like, wow, like whatever.
Hmm.
Um and I think that's like a really big deal that people here would really like, instead of like, I like board games, but sometimes board games you're just sitting there and there's some people that just want to, I'm here for the game and then I'm gone and that's it,
Yeah.
right?
Sure. Yeah.
Um so it was a neat experience. So those two I think were my biggest highlights
Cool.
that I've played so far. Yeah.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah, so I guess that's it for this month. I love how we went like over an hour last time, and this time we're like, okay,
Yeah.
we got to rein it back in.
Just depends on the episode, right? That's good.
Yep. Okay. So again, next month we actually won't be doing the first Friday of the month because
Right.
Brendan and I will be at Gen Con.
Yeah.
So we will have our next episode the following Friday, which I believe is August the 9th. That we'll have at the same time as usual. So 9 a.m. Pacific time, 12 p.m. Eastern time on Friday, August 9th. And that might be a fun episode that you definitely
Oh
want
yeah.
to show up for.
It'll be a special one. Yeah.
So yeah, that'll be a big one that I'm sure as we get closer to the date, we'll clue you in a little bit more. But for now, that is all we have for the July update. It's a slow week as Canada and America both had holidays, so taking it easy.
Taking it easy. It's good. All right, Natalie. Have a good
Yeah.
weekend.
All right, good
See
weekend to you
everyone.
too. Bye.